Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2025, and this is episode 74. Now, you may be wondering where my smiling face is, but do not fear, I'm still here. I have camera problems tonight. So luckily, we have another Asian face for you. So you're just gonna not even notice I'm gone. We have
You
a
look like this is like 2001: A Space Odyssey when you're like the evil computer
Oh, should I
with the
talk?
orb for now because you got the OBS logo. It looks like an evil eye.
That's true. I don't even know how to switch that out. That's the only video stream that my computer's recognizing right now. So
Yeah,
hopefully that
that's your
doesn't
new
get weird.
logo.
But like I was saying, we have a special guest for you tonight on the show, Mr. Eddie Pak, the one of the runner-up in the WPT main event with Scott Stewart, who we had on a few weeks ago. These guys actually did a chop and a save to play it out for the trophy, I believe. We'll get to that story later. But Eddie is having a year for the ages. Last year, we will be bringing that up for a second. But local player, local grinder, we've been playing with Eddie for a while, and this is I'm just really excited to get the story and figure out what kind of black magic sacrificial ceremony thing he did to have the year he had last year, because holy cow, when you see this, guys, you're going to be jealous. Aside from that, we have some exciting news wrapping up the LAPC, going over the results from the end, some more LA Blasters, some more favorites took down the main event. We'll go over all that and a couple other spicy news stories from around the industry to wrap up the show, along with we're going to hit up the World Series of Poker schedule, which was released I think 2 weeks ago, but we ran out of time to hit it last week. But that's fine. We got Eddie here to help us dissect it. So let's get going, guys. Eddie, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Super excited to be here, and yeah, excited to chat with you guys.
All right, so let's go. So I actually didn't know a whole lot about you until I think the first time I remember playing with you was one of the main events. Maybe was it maybe a Commerce? I was at a table with you. I'm just like, who's this kid? And then everybody was kind of pointing. You made a super deep run in the main event. So I looked him up, and Derek and I have been joking, and it was kind of funny to see you just crush at the main event. We're like, well, we're looking at Eddie's hand in here, and we're like, well, I guess he just only plays the amazingly huge, big tournaments and kills them because he just doesn't. He must just not want to waste his time with
It's
any of
funny.
this other stuff, right? To kind of give you an idea, look at the year he had, right? So. It looks like you've been playing tournaments since 2017 or so. Had some kind of kind of regular LA grinder years, and then all of a sudden, 2024 pops off for over 2 million, gets 2 million in this WPT chop. So I had never encountered you before that, but when we went to check out your results, like 26 results, who is this kid? He's got 26 results, and now he's over 2 million he's at over 2 million in earnings. So, I don't know, man.
Amazing.
Let's hear it. Tell us your secrets. Let's start at the beginning. Where a young Eddie, you from LA? Were you born and raised here?
For sure. Yeah, so I was actually born and raised in the East Coast, so DC,
Ah,
Cool.
Maryland area.
nice. Another
Grew
East
up
Coaster.
there. Yeah, yeah. And then I moved to LA for college, so I went to SC, and I've been playing poker since like 2011. So started off in the dorm rooms, like playing 10 cent, 20 cent, $20 buy-ins.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Fell in love with the game and started playing in Maryland. And then when I moved over to LA, started playing cash at the Commerce back in the glory days, back in like 2014-ish. And yeah, I've been playing ever since. And I consider myself a Cali, LA native now. I've been here for about 14 years now. So
Nice. So you're from
yeah,
DC area. I went to so as you may have heard, Derek's from New York City area. I'm from upstate New York, but I actually went to school down in Baltimore, so I'm very familiar with the DC, Maryland kind of area there. Um,
no
I
way.
yeah, what's that?
What school? What
I
school did you go to?
I went to Hopkins in Baltimore.
Hmm,
Yep. But
nice.
I
Okay.
was there before they had casinos in the area. We had to drive all the way to Atlantic City. So it sounds like you were there maybe after Maryland Live opened. Is that
So I was playing in mostly like private cash games at that time, and then right when I transitioned to LA, Maryland Live opened, and then right after that, National Harbor opened.
right? Yeah, I left.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
I lived in Philly after that when all of those casinos opened, and then I moved before National Harbor opened as well. So that's cool. So then you came over here to US San Diego, right? So you said?
USC.
Oh,
USC.
USC. You came right into
Yeah, yes.
LA, USC. All right, cool. So
Yeah.
what were the little home games like there? I remember at Hopkins the private game, our home games were really good, and except for the fact that I found out that there was at least one, if not more, cheaters among us. But the games were good because we had a lot of foreign students who apparently, they were pretty affluent, and their families would just send them checks without asking questions because, overseas studying, working hard.
Nice. Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I actually ran the game at SC. So
Oh,
Oh,
I had an apartment. Yeah, and my roommate and I actually ran a game there. It was
2018,
that was a no, so that was like 2015. So I graduated in
2015.
2015. So
Okay,
it was
so
like right before I graduated, and then right after that, I started playing cash pretty frequently. I'd say like part-time
I
at
gotcha.
Commerce.
Were you still grinding the
Yeah,
cash back
yeah.
then, Derek? Would you play some games here with Eddie?
you know what? I don't remember, Eddie, if we ran into each other in cash games. I don't remember that at all. I think I only just started like recognize you playing at the bike. I don't know, maybe like a year ago or something.
Yeah, I don't recognize. Yeah, I don't think I remember playing cash with you, but I definitely recognize both of you from tournaments for sure
Interesting.
at Bike and Commerce. Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha. So, so you're playing cash games, playing at the Commerce. Was the Commerce pretty much the only place you would grind cash, or were you rotating around playing everywhere?
yeah. I would play at the Bike a little bit. You probably see it from my hand in, but back in 2017, that was actually my first tournament I've ever played, and I actually got second for like
Wow,
3K,
Yep.
and I was like,
it's
oh my
amazing.
God. Yeah, I was like, this is so sick. And then I took a huge break from tournaments. I kept playing cash, and then like 2021, 2022 is when I started playing more NTTs and kind of got the tournament bug.
I gotcha. So, what
Yeah.
was what was the reason? Why'd you decide all of a sudden let's start playing more tournaments?
Yeah, it was actually a deep run I made at the Win. It was a 1600. I got six for like 50K or something like that. That was the biggest cash I had
Yep.
to date.
So that's in
And that's
2022.
when I like that was yeah, exactly. And that's when I got the official tournament bug. And
So
that's when I made the full transition.
So look, guys, if you just so you can get context here, Eddie is clearly some sort of tournament poker savant. If you look at his results, first result, second place, like he says here. All right, then he had a miss here at the 1K little one for one drop. Sorry, he only got 3 times the buy in there. But then he gets sixth in this event he's talking about, 50 grand about. Okay, oh darn, you got ninth, but then third in his next term. So in his first six tournaments, final tables technically four. I mean, his first 5 tournaments technically final tables 4 times. Finishes with pretty big scores for the buy-in 3 of those 5 times. Like this is pretty smooth sailing. This is so. By that point, were you starting to think like, why haven't I been playing tournaments this whole time, or are you still thinking I'm going to be taking a pay cut to switch over to tournaments here?
Yeah, it's definitely a different grind. I'd say like cash games were more steady, kind of more stable. Whereas tournaments, like when I hit that first big score for 50K, I was like, okay, wow, like I could actually like bank a big tournament and can change my life from this. Whereas cash, it's like, yeah, you could have a good week, but you're not gonna like change your life in one session,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's when I realized like the difference, and that's when I like started to really invest my time into becoming a better tournament player versus cash. Um,
Was
made
there
the full
anything that attracted you to tournaments? I mean, like even at all in the first place? Like what made you even think to go start playing them?
Yeah, I'd say like the competitive nature to the tournament
Yeah.
piece. I think like for cash games, it's just such a different grind, right? Like for the tournaments, it's like you're playing for 3, 4 days. You're in a field of let's say 500 players, and when you get to the FT, you're like, wow, I just outlasted like 99% of the field, and you're playing for the win, right? So it's definitely more of a different feeling of going deep in a tournament versus like having a good cash game session. So I like the thrill of the going deep in tournaments more than the actual grind of cash games, in my opinion.
Yeah, cash games are like a job, man. You're just grinding out hourly.
Yeah,
There's no glory. There's no trophy at the end of it, right?
Right.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So
the tournaments do kind of feel more like a sport or an actual game, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Cash games are such a grind, such a grind. Um, so you said that that kind of made you think, oh, maybe I'll focus and try and get a little better at it. Um, were you always kind of, are you talking about studying more? Are you talking about just playing more? Are you talking about what is your process, and how'd you shift from cash game tournament?
For sure. Yeah, I'd say a mix of everything you just mentioned. So I'm studying. I'm not super deep in the solver streets. I have GTO Wizard, and I do, record my hands and I look them up afterwards if I'm really intrigued and interested. But I actually learned a lot from like watching. So I grab like the Poker Go streams, Titan streams, things like that, and really like find the application of these strategies in GTO versus just like purely solver studying. So um, that and mix of obviously like the real time actually like playing tournaments and getting the reps in, I think is more important.
We hear so
So
many
yeah,
stories from people when we ask them how they got started. So many people talk about Poker Go. Like actually, that's what sort of made me take tournaments seriously too. Was like hearing Nick Schulman for the first time on Poker Go, like commentating streams. So yeah, I'm with you, man.
for sure. No, definitely. Yeah, Nick is great. And all the streams that are out there now. I mean, there's so many. I mean, even like we just had the LAPC too. Like
Yeah,
nowadays you could just watch the best play like almost every week. So a lot of content out there for you to like watch and get better.
yeah.
Nice. No, that's really impressive. Like we've talked about before, it's always cool to hear the different styles, and we've actually had a couple people on now who kind of said their
Yeah.
primary or their favorite way to study is to watch the best players play. So,
Yeah.
very cool. I think I personally am more of a give me a nicely written article about the concept kind of person, but no, that's definitely cool because so many people just I personally know a lot of people who can consume hundreds of hours of poker content like that, and they're not going to learn, like they're not going to get any better at all. So it's really a skill to be able to just watch and apply, and apply your brain in a way that it's going to get in there. So that's awesome. When you were playing the
Absolutely.
cash games, was that mostly just kind of trial and error at first, or like what were your first, did you have like a first poker book or first poker site, or like what was what did you do? Were you just good right away, better than all your friends right away, or did you get, you get crushed and then you had to hit the books and then come back?
No, definitely. Yeah, I definitely got crushed in the beginning. Like back in my days in Maryland, and even like my early days in LA, like I got crushed pretty bad, and I lost a lot. And I think that kind of motivated me to get better and really start like studying strategy a little more. And um, this is actually before, obviously, like back like before Hustler Casino Live and all like the cash streams. Obviously, like we had like live at the bike, but there was really no like content out there for me to like watch. So it was really just kind of like trial and error, just figuring out different spots that I could improve on, and yeah, that kind of just like lit the fire, like the losses early in the career and learning from those.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yep, you're not discouraged. We're you knew it was possible. You weren't going to give up. I love it. So let me ask you,
exactly.
for all that time then, and you graduated back in 2015. Were you just grinding cash full time, or did you have a day job, or do you still have a day job?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people have been asking me that lately, especially after the recent win. I do have a full-time job. I still have a full-time job. Back in the day when I was like grinding cash, so I'm in like talent acquisition. I work in tech, so I do like technical recruiting.
Okay.
So back in the day, I worked at Google and Meta, and now I currently work at Netflix. Yeah, the recent win wasn't large enough for me to kind of like quit. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7 mil is probably the number where I was
Yeah.
targeting to like, okay, maybe I'll just quit.
Right.
But
Right.
obviously, like, I'm still comfortable in my current situation, but I feel like I'm in a spot where I'm working fully remote, so I could still kind of play all the tournaments I want to play and take the time off if needed. And I have a lot of flexibility in my current situation, so I figured it was the right play to just keep the job.
Nice. No, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's an awesome job. I
yeah,
we're in tech somewhat as well, in software, and I'm jealous of you guys because I work in an industry where I actually have to go to the office, and it's terrible. And I mean, it's not terrible. The job's not terrible, but it sucks to have to go in the office when all you guys get to just chill at home and work on the
Yeah, and
weekend
your
or
hours.
whatever. So
Your hours are nuts.
yeah, it's silly. It's been a rough week. Um, awesome. So I know who to call if I need a change in pace.
For sure. Yeah, give me a call. I got you.
Yep. All right. So, for those, I I can't do this for most viewers, but I think at this point, if we take a look at your 2024, we will have pretty much looked at your entire Hendon. So let's just kind of walk through this year because I want to,
Let's do it.
for all the viewers out there, this is the kind of year everyone dreams of, and I kind of think it'd be fun and be nice to just kind of give the people a taste of what it felt like to live this year, right? So we're talking 2024. Up until you had before this, you had your biggest tournament year ever. You cashed for 94,000 in 2023, which is pretty good. I'm guessing average buy-in that year was like probably $600-$700 or something, maybe. I'm not really
right
looking.
around that. Yep.
Yep. So I mean that's good. That's good. That was probably profitable year. It's good. It's a pretty solid tournament grind year. So then let's go into 2024. Right here, in January, you take the trip to North California, Lincoln. So is this Thunder Valley? What's Lincoln?
This is Thunder Valley.
Yep. So you head up to Thunder Valley in January for the ring event. Almost make a ring in the bounty event, third place. Is that a great start to the year, or were you buried in that series?
That was actually a break even. So I fired, I think, 4 bullets in the main of that series. Yeah. So that was actually a break even series, and it sucked because I was right there.
Yep.
Getting the first ring. I still haven't won. If you look at my hand, I haven't won a tournament. So I do have the scores, but I haven't. Yeah.
but you don't have the trophies
but
like
it starts
Derek.
Getting right there. Yeah.
See, Derek, you've got all those trophies. You got all those trophies, Derek. Don't you feel great?
These trophies are tens of thousands of dollars, buddy.
Yeah, see? All right, so you have yourself a break-even Thunder Valley. That's good. I mean, any series you can walk away from is a good series. Come back, LAPC,
Sure.
quiet LAPC. You cash the main. I think that's the one I remember playing with you in. I did good in that one. Not so much this year. But so I remember playing you there. And then over here, winning in the green. Okay, you get you see, this was one of the quantums. You get 52nd for $5,000. That's pretty good. Not bad. Probably got you even on that series as well, right? Then we got the circuit event over at Commerce. So, first half of the year here, getting some cashes, not super deep runs, but then along comes the World Series itself. It's time to go to Vegas. So how do you approach your Vegases? Or was this year a different one? Because I noticed in 2023 you have a lot of World Series poker cashes as well. How long do you go up there for? Is it a cherry pick thing, or do you go up for the whole summer?
Yeah. So 2023 is where I made a mistake and I put in too much volume. You'll see, you see all like the min caches for 2023, and I was so burnt out after 2023 summer, and my takeaways were really just to pick and choose like the events that I really want to play, and that's what I did for 2024. I really just chose. I think I chose about 5 to 6 events, whereas the previous summer I played definitely like over double digits. So yeah, for 2024, I pick and chose like all the kind of like the premier events, like obviously the main, the Millionaire Maker, Mystery Millions, pretty much all the events that I really wanted to play. I really like that approach because you're not burnt out by the end of the summer. You're more energized. If you're lucky enough to make a deep run, you'll have more energy. You'll be more well rested. You're not gonna be burnt out at that point. So
For sure. And
I'm gonna do the same thing for this. Yeah.
I feel like that is good advice, especially for folks who are working a full-time job as well, right? Because you're working in between those tournaments. You probably brought your laptop up there with you, that kind of thing, right? So you're probably still working the whole time, and you got to pace yourself. So how did it? Yep. And I also see here, so you also final tabled the main event here at the first circuit that Commerce ran in May. Pocketed a nice $45,000 for that.
Yep, I did. Actually, Christian Roberts was on that final table too, and he got 6th place in the WPT main event.
Yep. Yeah, that's the first time I'd played with him as well. Was in the I think the Mystery Bounty event or something. I've run into him a few times since then. Hawaiian shirt wearing, Argentinian.
Always has a Hawaiian. Exactly.
Funny guy.
Exactly.
But how did it feel? Did that give you a lot of confidence going into the summer to final table there?
It did. Yeah. So that was like the first like big score of 2024, and that really it was perfect timing, like you said, like right before the summer. Gave me a good, comfortable bankroll for the summer as well, and it gave me a lot of confidence that I could make a deep run in the large fields. Large fields are definitely my forte for sure. I like playing in the bigger field events.
Yeah, and we can tell. So yeah, so you had you picked a couple bracelet events. You played a bit at the Win, and then here comes the main event. So in this main event, you got 47th place. You got 200 grand even for it, more than about quadrupling your prior biggest score. What day was that? How many days did you have to play to get 47th?
Yeah, that was day 7.
Woof.
So that was early day 7. Yeah, it was brutal, brutal. Yeah, it was at that point I was really just playing off of adrenaline, and yeah, at that point I was so burnt out.
How did that event go for you? Was it somewhat smooth sailing until you got tired? Was it a lot of ups and downs? Any fun stories?
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing actually. I have a pretty interesting hand that I played on the bubble. I think Poker News made an article about it. I basically made quads on the turn with pocket jacks against someone who had made an ace high flush on the turn. Um, and that was like pretty much like stone, not stone bubble. I think we were about 3 or 4 away from the money.
But it was hand for hand,
I
probably.
eliminated him. Yeah, it was hand for hand at that point for sure. And yeah, that was probably like the highlight of the like the run for me. That really from there everything was like smooth sailing. I was pretty much at average from day 3 on all the way up to day 7. Uh, and yeah, it was. I learned so much during that run, honestly, like grinding a short
Yeah.
stack and taking advantage of like the long structure and just staying patient, picking your spots because of how much time you have. And yeah, that kind of propelled me, and I just learned so much from it and pretty much applied that for the WPT
How,
main.
Yeah, I actually had a lot of fun railing you and Sammy down the stretch. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yes, yeah. Sammy made a deep run. Yeah, exactly. I remember
Yeah.
seeing you there. Yeah.
how did it feel every day when you woke up? Like on day 4 when you woke up to play, how did that feel compared to day 5 when you woke up to play? Day 6, did it start to feel kind of unreal, or did it start to feel kind of like, like pinch me, or was you just getting so tired you couldn't even think straight?
Yeah, kind of pretty much everything you just mentioned. Yeah, it kind of felt surreal, especially like day 5 plus. Like day 5 and day 6, I was like, whoa, is this like actually happening? Especially as you start getting the text messages and like people are like supporting you. They're like saying good luck, like posting on Instagram and Twitter. And I tried to like eliminate all of the noise as much as possible, but yeah, I pretty much just trying to take a day at a time and really just trying to stick to my routine. That I was trying to get as much sleep as possible, same breakfast every morning. I try to like do a quick meditation before I start playing just to like clear my mind. Um, and yeah, just try to repeat that every single day and just go in with a clear mind as much as possible.
Awesome. So you got that 200 grand. Did you consider just kind of packing in for the year and just being like, this was a good year. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm just going to relax, wait till next year.
No
The
way.
thought ever
No
cross your
way,
mind? No?
yeah. Nope, nope, not at all, not at
Okay.
all. Even after this WPT score, I'm sure we'll get to it. But yeah, I'm still hungry for more.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, like I said earlier, I haven't got that first place trophy yet. And the money's great and everything, but the first place is and the trophy is legacy, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's why we're all playing, right? I mean, and
Hmm.
the money's
Yeah.
great, of course, but
There's
like I
not
want, yeah,
there's no feeling like winning a poker tournament.
yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get
By
those
the way,
trophies.
congrats, Derek. By the way, congrats on the. I'm
Thank you,
sure we'll get
buddy.
into
It's
that.
got the
Yeah,
Thank you,
Remington
buddy.
nice and high, I see. Nice and high.
On the top, on the top. Yep.
looks good up there. Looks good.
Hmm. All right, we'll find something else to tease Eric for eventually. Um, so, okay, so you weren't going to quit, but I mean, how, you couldn't have thought that you were going to 10x your biggest score in less than 6 months. I mean, let's walk through
Yeah.
your WPT. What was that WPT like, right? So you got about 800th in the prime, min cash. So that looks like the only WPT cash of December. Did you only go up for the prime in the main, or did you play a lot of events?
So crazy story here, actually. So I actually got into a car accident
Oof.
the day
Oh,
before the prime. Yeah,
Wow.
I totaled my car. And I had everything booked, like everything was ready to go, my hotels, flight. And I was like 50-50. Like luckily, thank God, like I wasn't injured, everything was fine. Uh, but yeah, I was like 50-50. I almost didn't even go to the entire series.
Wow.
So
wow.
I ended up going, yeah, I ended up going to the prime and kind of And I was already there, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep going and play the main. And I actually fired 2 bullets in the main, and yeah, thank God I played because I was like literally 50-50. I swear, I almost didn't even come
Man,
to Vegas.
look at
Yeah.
this guy winning flips, Derek. Aren't you jealous?
Yeah, you gotta teach me how to do that.
So, how did your run through the WPT event go then? How did that
Yeah,
compare to the World Series? What were the players
to the World
like? What were the
Series.
feelings
Yeah,
like?
for sure. Yeah. Well, first off, shout out to WSOP Bahamas because I feel like they took a pretty big chunk of the regs and super pros that are normally there. So I played all 3 years
Yeah.
that the Win has had the WPT championship, and I feel like this last year was probably the softer out of the
Oh,
three in terms
geez,
of the field.
I'm so bummed.
Yeah,
I played
and it
last
could have
year,
just
not
been my
this year.
tables,
Jeez.
but um, yeah, it could have just been my tables, but my initial read based on like what all my tables that I was at, like I feel like the field was fairly soft. Like, Jarek, I don't know if you agree with that, but or I don't
It
know how your
was, it
tables
was,
are
it
like.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
The super pros were just not there. I mean, I had tough tables, unfortunately, but the super pros were not there. You're absolutely right.
Mm. Yeah, Makita was there. I played with
Oh yeah,
Makita
he got
for
a
on
free
day
seat. I heard
4.
he came in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he won
Yeah.
somehow won a satellite somehow, like he needs it, but he somehow had a free seat and
Oh
got
my
in.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Outside of
forget
him,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, my experience for the WPT, like it was pretty smooth sailing to be honest. Like similar to the main event, like I was pretty much above average stack the entire time. There was one interesting hand I played on day 4. It was a 5-bet pot. I had ace 4 suited on an ace king jack 7 deuce board, and my opponent had ace 3 suited. It was insane. It was like one of the most insane hands I've ever played. It was a 5-bet pot pre-flop, and we both had the mini suited ace. Um, we ended up chopping, which was insane. Yeah. Outside of that hand, I played a pretty interesting hand with Makita on day 4 as well. It was like a 3-bet pot. I had king queen of hearts in the cutoff. He was in the small blind. He 4x pre-flop. Flop was like ace king x. He bet like 10%, check on the turn on the blank, and then he overbet 2x pot on the river on another blank. So it was like ace king 7 deuce 4, and it would check on the turn, and then he just like bombs the river. I ended up folding with obviously with the king, but he polarized with obviously like the 2x overbet, and it was just like really confusing. I don't know. He could have had maybe like a set of 4s or something. I don't know. Maybe he rivered a set, but it was really weird pot. But yeah, outside of that, like it was pretty smooth sailing all the way to day 6. Day 6, I had like a chip lead, and it was like 9 left, and I was able to like run over the table. We had a short stack of about 15 or so blinds, and I had like 100 plus, and there was a lot of middling stacks, and it allowed me to kind of take advantage and pretty much open any two in any position. Had very little resistance throughout the entire 9 left or so, and accumulated up to like 60 million to lead the final 6. And yeah, the rest was history. It was pretty sick run.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep, no, it was
Yeah.
really fun to watch the feature tables near the end with you guys on it. Watching you and Scott on there, and like you said, Christian was there, and you had some other colorful characters for a while, like the table one guy, I forget his name, but the lot of fun characters on the stream there near the end. It's I want to say don't want to say it was out of character for these kind of things, but it was it was a little out of character because, like you said, all the super pros gone, and you get you're playing with Mormon, who's getting what I forget, he got 6th both years or 4th both years, I forget now. He got like
He got
fourth.
back to
Yeah,
back
it's
fourth places.
crazy, back to
Yeah.
back 4th places in that thing. Um, so near the end though, it must have started to feel kind of familiar, kind of comfortable. I mean, you're sitting there playing with the guy from Commerce Final Table. You're sitting there playing with Scott. You're sitting there playing with, was it kind of a different vibe than other late in events that you've been playing in, especially outside of LA? It felt like a home game, no?
It did. It did. Yeah, I don't know if you guys tuned in, but like the table talk, the camaraderie, like Scott and I were talking about Raising Cane's and like our favorite fast food,
Uh-huh.
like
That's cool.
and during the middle of hands,
Yep.
it's like it felt like a very like home game. Like you said, like in the backyard, like at the Commerce.
Yeah.
and this is like with 9 to 10 players left for playing for 3.1 million, right? And 10K, which is very rare. And yeah, even like during the interviews, like they were all asking like, oh, like, it seems like you guys are pretty comfortable out there. And I think it's Scott's presence there, in addition to obviously like my history with Christian. I feel like everything kind of accumulated and like made it more friendly environment, which actually made me more comfortable and like obviously like eliminates a little bit of the pressure throughout like playing for that much money. And I'm actually thankful that they were both there, because yeah, it kind of lightened up the mood a little more.
As you got down the stretch, though, I mean, I know definitely early on that the field was super soft, but as you went down the stretch, there were not only like the good known pros, but I'm sure there were a lot of really good like pros and just solid like Euros left. So how did you feel you sort of stacked up to the guys like that?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'd say like, yeah, probably like day 5 plus is when the tables started to get really tough. Like I was playing with like the Shannon Shores, like I played with
Right.
Nikita for a few hours. And yeah, it was honestly pretty tough at that stage, but at that point, like I had above average and I was very comfortable like with my game and like how I was playing. And yeah, I feel like I stacked up pretty well, to be honest. Like I think the main event run for the WSOP really helped me too, just in
Yeah.
terms of like my confidence and being comfortable, being deep in a tournament and kind of just eliminating that like money figure in your mind. Because I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
players sometimes think about that and it could affect your play, and you might get nervous, you might make a mistake. And I really found a way to kind of just eliminate that and just really just focus on one hand at a time and just
Yeah, to
playing your
get the
best hand.
reps that you've been getting like deep in those big like 10K mains against like tough competition, it's so hard to
Mhm.
to get reps like that. So
Oh, for
good for you,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, and to your point, like I was saying, I did watch a bit of the stream and it was super fun. I feel like poker needs more final tables like that and fewer final tables with the really slow scarf guys. I mean, it drives me nuts seeing the guys who every single, I think you might have done it once or twice, but maybe there was an order around. But like the guys, every single action, every single hand, they're like, suddenly they have to cover their entire face like they're going to go rob a bank or something. I mean, come on. And no chatter.
Yeah,
It's good to see. It's good to see the LA guys out there having fun. I mean, like that's what a lot of our tables are like all around LA, and it's like, if you, I always am saying, if you're not having fun here, what are you doing, right? Like I don't care. Oh, I'm making money. No,
exactly.
it's like no, you're not. You're here in LA in a mid stakes tournament. You're not. So if you're not having fun, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Awesome. So that's cool. So let's do you was there any kind of controversy when you guys brought up chopping or anything? Was it like hey, Chris got his 4th place finally, let's chop right away, or did you play a little more, or was it was there an unwritten agreement like, look, we all know Chris is going to get 4th, let's just wait, like
No, so what happened was, so Chris got eliminated. I had lost a pretty big pot. It was a flush over flush hand, and at that point our stacks were pretty even. I think it was like 80, 70, 70 million. And Scott brought it up. He was like, "Hey, you guys want to look at the numbers?" And I said, "Hey, give me like a minute." We played like a hand or two, and then I was like, "Yeah, let's look at the numbers." And basically, what happened was original payout was 3.1, 2, and 1.5. So for first, second, third. And what we essentially did was we guaranteed everyone to get 2 million, and we were essentially playing for 500,000. So the updated payments were 2.5, 2.2, and 2 million. So essentially, we were just playing for 500K, which is still obviously a huge amount of money. That's like more than
Right.
double what first place would be. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a great deal. Obviously, in hindsight, it was great for me because I got eliminated in third. But even if I had won the tournament, I think it would have been the right play either way. I think with that much money
Yeah.
on the line, I think it was the
oh
right
yeah,
move.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I am an advocate for
and
flatter
yes, yeah,
payouts for sure.
for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that Scott took it down and represented for LA. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think we would have been pretty happy with any of you guys, but it's this way is a little funnier because now we'll be able to keep teasing you about having no trophies. You're gonna have like 10 million on your Hendon, and we'll be able to
No,
keep teasing you about no
you're gonna get
trophies.
there eventually. So we gotta punch you while we still can.
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, keep the needles coming. Yeah, I'm looking
Mhm.
at chat now. Def highest handed with no trophy.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the top ones without a first
Yeah.
place.
yep. Okay.
Coming soon though. Coming soon. Coming
Right. So
soon.
speaking of trophies, right? So let's talk about what's next, right? You said you're still got the fire. You're still here around LA. We were talking a little bit before we started about we like the look of this bike series. You know, are you going to be how badly do you want a trophy? How low are you willing to play to get a trophy? Is kind of my question. You gonna go back and play the closer? You know, you gonna come to the bike and play their 250, their 400, or what's the next thing you're gonna play? Are you gonna wait until?
No,
Or
yeah,
are you gonna
yeah, it's a
wait
good
until
question. Good
the
question.
quantums come up? Here, let me bring the bike schedule up for you
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
help
bring it
you out.
out. I'll look it out too. So I think I'm gonna play I think there was one for like 880 on the day
Yep,
two
yep,
on
that's
a
the first
Saturday.
quantum. Yep,
Yeah, I'm gonna play that one for sure. Yeah, that's essentially you're playing like a 1K, right?
yep.
That's
You're
gonna
essentially
yeah,
late regging a 1K. So
Yeah.
exactly.
we
Yeah.
looked at that structure before. I don't know if you had a chance to look. It's a little different than a normal quantum, but you're gonna get 1/3 of the average stack instead of the normal average stack.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
So you'll come
Okay.
in with like I think 30 to 33 bigs instead of typically you come in with like 70 bigs in these day two quantums, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's still not bad.
yeah,
Still not bad.
it's just like a regular late reg on a 1K, right? So
Right, right. So I'm definitely gonna play that. I'm actually going up to Thunder Valley for the Rolling Thunder Championship
that's a WPT, right?
in early March. Yep, that's a WPT, and
Awesome.
then I'm gonna come back for the Mega Millions mini and the regular.
Okay, so you won't be back for the Park West Classic. Oh, well, that's in between these, I think, actually. So you'll be for the mini,
Yeah,
and then the Park West
I'll be
Classic's
here for
in
the
between
mini.
them,
Yep,
and then the Mega right after that. Okay.
exactly. So I'll play all that per
Okay.
se.
All right. That is
Yeah.
fair. I assume then you played the Commerce Main since you're here in town.
So I actually only played the 1200. So
Oh, you
let
didn't
me
play
tell
the
you
10.
why I didn't play the main.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't play the 10. So a few reasons. One, I don't like the fact that there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
And two, the structure is actually almost too good. So if I
Right.
was like a
It is.
full-time pro, I would obviously play. But since I have a job, right, like I'm not gonna the trade-offs of taking the time off for no guarantee wasn't
Yeah.
worth it in my opinion.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. I was
and
exactly
I
the
think
same.
the 1200 is more value. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's kind of why like yeah.
we had the exact same thoughts. You know, I was saying the exact same thing to people when they're asked. I'm like, look, day 2 and day 3, these are all on weekdays. What am I going to do that for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
funny too because we've had so many discussions now about how the WSOP main maybe should just go a little bit faster. It was never meant for 10,000 freaking people, you know. On the other side of it, LAPC main was structured for when it was back in the heyday of like WPT and Matt Savage, and we are far away from that now. So I do think they need to reevaluate that schedule a little bit. There's no reason why it should drag on for as many days as it does.
Yeah, and even
exactly.
since it's small, it's not that many days. Honestly, if they just made day 2 Saturday and day 3 Sunday, I would probably strongly consider playing. But the fact that day 2
Yeah.
is like Monday and day 3's, Tuesday, et cetera,
Yeah.
not you can't do it. Not interested. Yep.
Yep.
That's funny. So look, even this guy, even Eddie, Mr. $2 million man, does not want to take a day off to play your weekday rando tournaments, guys. So look, you gotta take us into account if you want Eddie playing in your tournaments. You gotta make sure we don't have to
Sure.
take so many days off. Yeah, and there's no guarantee, but if they had put one on there, it would have been embarrassing. They would have put like a million guarantee on, and it would have been the same.
Yeah, for a 10K,
Yeah,
that's pretty brutal.
it's silly.
It's pretty brutal.
And
Yeah.
I think it came within like 5 entries of what they had last year or something, right? Like it was very close to exactly
Mm.
the same numbers they had last year, even with the re-entry per flight or the one per flight difference than that they had this year. So that's interesting.
Yeah, the 1200 was better value. It's the
Yeah,
same
no,
first
I agree.
place and
Same thing last year. The 1200
yeah,
had a bigger prize pool both years.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Um, I don't. Was first place different? First place was 300 something in the 10K though. I think they
Yeah,
flattened it more in the others. It was close.
yeah.
It was close. Okay. So yeah, we will see you then at all the quantums and at the classic. Then that's good. We won't have to deal with you in the smaller events. So after that, though, there will be the series at the Gardens. I imagine you'll only be interested in the main event. which if it's like
Sure.
the others, it'll be a like 1100 500K guarantee probably. So that'll be nice. And then we should, even though it's not on the calendar, should be rolling back around to the circuit at the Commerce. You gonna fire hard at that to try and get yourself a ring, or are you just gonna come around for the main and the high roller?
Uh, I'll probably do the house. I always do the housewarming one. I think that's the 600,
Yeah,
and
the
then
opener.
I'll
Yep.
definitely do the main, of course. Yep, and I'll do the high roller, and then I'll do the Gardens main as well. So
Gotcha.
pretty much all the mains, and then the housewarming
All right.
for WSOP. Yeah.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair. And then now for the actual topic that we wanted to talk to, that was really all just a lead up to talk World Series. So like we mentioned in the beginning, this schedule came out a couple weeks ago. Derek and I haven't had a chance to dive into it too much, but since we have you on, I thought we'd get your thoughts. So after that comes the World Series, and you said you're very selective about what you play. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you choose the events you're going to play, what events you chose this year, and why. And if you are, if you've had a chance to dive in a little bit, there are some differences this year from last year. So we can talk about those as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the first thing I look at is how I could bulk my time there, right? So what I mean by that is kind of stacking the events where I could optimize my hotel costs and travel and accommodations and things like that. So uh, what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to play the 5K opener on event number 3. Then I'm going to go into the Mystery Millions, the 1K with the 1 million bounty and guaranteed 1 million first place. And then I'm actually going to take a shot at the 25K. It's going to be my biggest buy-in. I'm going to stack some action for that as well. And then obviously I'm going to play the main. And then what I really like about this year is the 3K mid-stakes championship, assuming that you don't go deep in the main event and make it to day 7 or day 8, you could go into the 3K mid-stakes
They had
championship.
that last year as well. Did you went too
Oh,
deep to
did
play
they?
it? Yeah, you
Oh,
went.
I made day 7, so
Yeah, you
I
were
didn't
just
get
too
an
deep
opportunity
to
to play
care. Yeah,
it.
you're just too deep to care.
So I didn't get to play that. So did you guys
I
play?
fired too many bolts. I did. I fired too many
Okay.
bolts at that day.
I think I was out of town by then. My plan, if I went that late, was to leave town. So you're talking the 5K is the 8-handed. Is that the event
The
you're talking about?
Yep, exactly.
Very
So
cool.
that's going to be the one.
So you're not going to
60-minute
play the
levels.
Mystery Millions?
Oh, I am. I'm going to play the Mystery
Okay,
Millions.
sorry, I missed that.
Basically, yeah. So there's like 4 or 5 flights for the Mystery Millions.
Yeah.
I'm going to play like the last 2, the
Gotcha.
ones on Saturday and Sunday.
So that's one of the changes I'd like to quick chat with you and Derek about. So they added a lot of extra flights to
the
Mystery Millions and to the Monster Stack, right? So they added a bunch of more flights to both of those events.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, last year they added an extra flight to each, I think. Was it just one extra flight at that point? Yeah, see, Monster Stack flight A, B, C, bring it up, A, B, C, D, and they usually only had, like, it used to only be A and B, right? And then it was A, B, C last year. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yep. So now they have a D, and yep, and then the Mystery Millions. I think what they did was they added an entire day to both of those day 1 events. So like if they had 2 day 1s before, they have 3 now. If they had 3, now they have 4.
Yeah, it's funny we were just saying how they shouldn't do that and not make more days, but then they just made more days.
Yep, because the Mystery Millions has up to E now, right?
Day.
A, B, C, D. Yeah. So, and
Man,
remember
we
did, yeah.
The Monster Stack and the Millionaire Maker are going to be like a full. They were already a full week, so now it's like officially like a full week.
Yeah, they're just making them so much harder and harder and harder, right?
Yeah, that's brutal.
And the Millionaire Maker has a flight. Let's see, A, B, C, D. Yep, so it goes up to D as well. But the last one is on Saturday. Let me check the Monster Stack real quick. So that's a change. The final flights they added at all. For events like the Monster Stack, I really think the Monster Stack is going to see a very marginal gain, almost nothing, compared to the other years for this extra flight.
That's what happened.
Yep.
That's what happened last year. Is they had the extra flight and they didn't get like close to 30% more runners, right?
Exactly.
It was like 10% more.
Yeah, it was less than 10 some cases. I think the Mystery Millions, this mystery bounty, I think that could benefit from the additional flights, assuming people don't go broke. Assuming they don't play so much they go broke and don't play the rest of the series. But I think like the Monster Stack's not going to benefit at all, and I feel like I'm not sure about the Millionaire Maker or not. Now, what will help? See, it's going to be harder to compare apples to oranges apples to apples because they moved it. They moved it back so that the last day 1 is on Saturday because if it was still on Sunday and there were 4 days of day ones for the the super pros to get in, I would be very uninterested. But now that it's back on Saturday, I'm somewhat interested. Derek's under attack.
Yeah.
So another thing, as long as we're going through the schedule, you didn't mention this one, so I guess you're not heading in there. But they added an event on this that we've actually seen somewhat before here, back when DJ was here. They added an event called the is it the Battle of the Ages? Is that what they called it? Have you heard about that,
I
Derek?
saw that.
Yeah, did you guys see that? Did you see that?
I have not seen that. That's similar to what DJ did, huh?
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit similar. I think it's probably a little better the way they did it because it's just simpler, but it's, man, it's kind of a weird thing to do. Like, why even bother? They're doing a Battle of the Ages. The way it works is they have 2 age groups. It's, I'm looking for right now. It's like 50 and up or 40 and up, and then everyone else. And then they combine on day 2, right? So, like, this was not popular at Commerce. So, but at Commerce, they broke the ages up by decades. It was like what, like 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and then 50 and over, I think. And this really just not a lot of people wanted to play this thing. I'm very interested to see how it does. People have had thoughts. Like, people thought this was kind of like, oh, cool, this will be kind of like the pros and businessmen tournament.
Like the Triton.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they're thinking. Which, it's a little insulting, but I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there validity there? And does that attract you?
I don't. It seems very. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Gimmicky.
Gimmicky. That's the word I'm looking for. It's gimmicky. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very curious to see the numbers this year.
Yeah, because like I would play something like this because I like fun, goofy things. But like if I'm trying to make money, if I'm trying to min max, I'm trying to do this, like it's not the same as the businessmen and pros because the numbers aren't going to be moderated, right? It's not, and it's 15 over, play one flight, 15 under, play the other. It's not like they're matching sizes, right? So it's not like if you get rewarded by playing in the tough field because it'll be 50-50. The other one, in fact, you might get rewarded more because it'll be a bigger number if we're saying the over 50 field's going to be softer than the under, which it might not because all the 20 to 30-year-olds are pretty terrible that we see, right? Like honestly, like all the vloggers that come in and people who come in from that, they just like, they're not that great often. But if you assume one side is worse, right, then the numbers aren't going to match. The over 50 is probably going to smash the under 50, probably, just because those senior events are so massive, right? There's just like, that's kind of where demographic sort of is.
In that DJ tournament at the Commerce, it was definitely the 40s that was like the absolute toughest. It was the toughest bracket, not even close.
Yeah, I got scammed in that. I was destroying I was still in the 30s at the time when that ran. I destroyed my age bracket until we got to the bubble, and then I couldn't win a damn hand, and they all played super tight, and I couldn't win a hand, and then all of a sudden I lost a stupid, like, I had Jacks versus King 10, and I lost that one. It's just like I literally had all the chips. I had like 4 times as many chips as anyone, and then we get down like 2 from the bubble, and then just like, it just nothing. There's nothing happening. Chips are just, blinds are being passed around. I can't win a hand, and then the blinds, like 4 hours later, I bust, and I'm like, this was such a freaking scam. Anyways, that's not going to keep me from this. What'll keep me from this is that it is, well, we'll see. I got friends in Vegas now. I've got, I got to test the baby run good. Making an announcement here, guys. I'm having a baby later in the year. This will be the last World Series that I'm gonna probably be able to just run up there whenever I feel like it. So I might still go. And this is the weekend of the Millionaire Maker. It is flight D is on Saturday, and this event starts. Oh, but see, this event starts on Sunday, so day 2 is gonna be on Monday. So we'll see. I probably won't play, but it'll be interesting to see.
Congrats, buddy.
Congrats, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you. So yeah, I have been noticing a much higher percentages of my all-ins I survive. So I think that it is warming up. I think it's gaining strength as the baby does.
Nice.
Yep. So main event, right? Main event advice. What do you got for people? Which flight to play? How many days off you want to take for a break? What you want to play other events around it? What's your best main event advice, Eddie?
Yeah, so I I don't really have a strategy, to be honest, on which day one I play. I think this year I'll actually be playing day one C. So that's gonna be 4th of July actually on a Friday.
Mm.
And that's mainly just to optimize for like my lodging and work. My Fridays are typically super light, so I could just take off or still take meetings if needed. But with the 12 p.m. start time, like it's totally fine. Um, in terms of advice, so I'd say like obviously it's very cliche, but really just staying patient and really taking advantage of the 2 hour levels, right? And not really paying attention to the average stack. I know a lot of people like are always paying attention to like, oh, what's the average stack? Like, oh, hit the target and do this and that. But the tournament and structure is so good that you can really just take it hand by hand, and it's not going to be super linear the entire way, right? Like you're going to have your ups and downs, and there's going to be points in the tournament where you're at your lowest point and you're going to be above average stack. So I think really just taking it hand by hand, staying patient, taking it day by day, and sticking to your routines and try to get as much sleep as possible. Exercise before, clear your mind, eliminate all distractions, and really just lock in and play day by day.
Nice.
Good advice. It's actually simple advice, but it's so hard to follow, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's real good advice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of the main event, I wanted to ask you guys actually, what changes would you make to the main event? Like, I know recently, like Phil Hellmuth came out and said like, oh, it's too long,
Yep.
and I actually agree with him. I think it is too long, and I think there should be some off days, or they should speed up the structure or something. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we talked a little about this last week, and Derek alluded to it a little
Okay.
bit already. He mentioned that he thinks, I won't speak for Derek. He's right here, but yeah, I think we have slightly different, but overall, like I think our philosophy is the same. But I think we have some slightly different suggestions for what we would do with it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I definitely think shorter, but I think we just shorten the number of days because everything that we do should be optimizing for working people, right? Like that's by far the
Mhm.
biggest segment of players that we have. So what you want to do is just get working people to take less vacation days. So I think that like adding break days is a bad idea because all you're doing is like, well, I'm gonna take off like a full week and a half for this main event, and now am I taking an extra day? Am I just going back into work for one day and coming back out again? So I think it is best that we just try to shorten it, like basically just reduce the number of days however we can. I do like the dinner break specifically for the World Series for personal reasons, so I could take a nap, but I could also be fine with just no dinner break, right? And just trying to play through having a shorter night, trying to wrap up around 8 or 9 p.m. so you can go spend time with your family and stuff like that. So just those kind of changes, but definitely, like let's just speed up the structure without adding extra days and just do it in a way where we can maybe shave a day or two off at the end.
Yeah, if the
Like,
days were a little shorter, you wouldn't need the dinner break for the nap, though. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with the sentiment that we should be trying to make it as compact as possible, but on the other
Mhm.
side, I still think it does need to have uniqueness and that kind of that thing that makes it the main, which is that slowness, right?
Yeah.
But for me, so I definitely disagree with Phil on like let's just randomly take some extra days off here and there when I get tired. Um, I I think that the things we should really be focusing on are like how many hours per day you play, what the turnaround time is, and I would be okay with a couple spots. People have suggested maybe in the beginning we make them an hour and a half until a certain point, and then you go to 2 hours. I think I would be okay with something like that, especially given the numbers. Like if the numbers were to shrink back down, maybe you change it. And I feel like for me, if you just structured it around like a tough working day, that is where it should be at, right? Because so many of us, you guys get to stay home, but like I go to work 4 or 5 days a week. I go in, I have to go and I have to work. I don't have a dinner break at work. I have a lunch break, but oftentimes I just eat lunch at my desk and I sit my ass in that chair for 8 to 10 hours. And then I come home and I do it again the next day. And I can't complain, oh, God, this poker tournament's way too long. I'm too old. The guys I work with are like 55, 60. They're not retired yet. They can't be like, oh, you guys need to change the schedule. I'm so tired after 5 days of sitting in this chair and working and thinking for it 9 hours. No, that's how we live, right? So that should be fine. Don't make it a freaking crazy marathon where we're there for 13 hours and then you want us to come back in 6 more hours and play for 13 more. No, that's absurd. And if we do go, for me, I think the ideal length of this thing would be like The day ones, you can't help it, but that just lets people get those extra days off if they want, and that could elongate it. But if I start on the last day one, it would be optimal if it took like 6 days to get to the point where now I could take a day off and now it's the final table. I think that's kind of where I would want. So so from the last day one to the final table, and maybe the final table takes 2 days, okay, whatever. I'm playing for $8 million. But like, I don't want to take it, I don't even want to think about taking a day off until what they do now, which is right before the final table. So those days, if we could get them to be, I think that the length of endurance you should ask someone is about a week, right? 6 days I think would be perfect. 7 days feels like too much, just because, we figured this out. We work this long. We're all used to working 5 days a week, whether it's good or bad. That's what people are used to. So asking for one extra day, I think that's all right for something like this. And how can you complain? Look, 80% of us are out there doing it. It's like just do it that way, man. What about
I think
you?
WPT. Yeah, I was gonna say I think WPT did it right. So like my tournament was 6 days, right, to get to the final table, like you just said. So there was just 90 minutes, not 2 hours. They didn't have dinner breaks, I don't believe, on day 2 through day 2 plus. Then for this, I actually like the November 9. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, I remember that, of course.
When you get to the final table, yeah, I actually like that. So in hindsight, like for the WPT, like if they gave us a few months off after getting to the final 6 or the final 9, like I actually really like that. Like gives you more time to prep,
Interesting.
gives you time to get some like endorsements, if that's thing too. But outside of that, I agree with your point, Ty. I think shortening it and making it a little more compact. I think 6 days is like the ideal number for me.
Yeah, and I loved the November 9 when there was a big machine behind it and there were endorsements and sponsorships to get and whatnot, and I love the idea of it. But I think my counter now is that they're just, at least for American players and for a lot of markets, there aren't endorsements really. There aren't a lot of things there's not a lot of business you can do in that way. And for the people who are broadcasting it, they're not going to get a lot of extra benefit for being able to promote it and push it than they do now. So for me, I like the shorter turnaround time, because honestly, the one thing I didn't like about the November 9, I didn't like that prep time. I felt like that was a little bit disingenuous for the event, right? Like this event started this week in July. I wanted to know how these guys stack up in July. I don't want to know how they stack up after getting the best coaching they can for however long they have with the study to blah, 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 right? So for me, I kind of, if those other things still existed, I'd be more on board with them, because like, yeah, let's turn it into a big event. Let's fill that arena. Let's make it a big ESPN event, right? But like, I don't think we can do that right now, or, I don't think it's just not there right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Okay. So, with the other events, so you did not play the 10K main. Did you happen to go to Cherokee? You happen to go ring chasing?
I didn't. I wish I did though. I was looking at Fausto's like stories.
Yeah.
And
did you see this story here? Did you see the story about the table flipping, and the crazy guy came and flipped 3 tables and then got it tackled by the players here?
Guys, everybody step back.
I did. Yeah. So do you guys know what happened? Like what? Why did he do that?
So I only know,
mental breakdown or something.
I only know kind of like secondhand hearsay and what I've read. What Fausto and some others that were there, this is still secondhand. They kind of said someone just came in, right? Wasn't a player, wasn't someone who was in the tournament or anything. Came in. I was told he was wearing like this kind of Jesus shirt or something, and he kind of just made some comments, something about like there's a lot of sinning going on here, something like that, and then he just started flipping tables.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Wow.
Now, like I said, that's all kind of just stories I've heard, and none of that's verified. But I have heard from multiple sources it was not someone who was playing, just someone who came in. So it's like, what do you even do? If someone did that at Commerce, I think they would get to flip every single table before anything happened to him. I mean,
this is true.
Players did stop him here, so maybe if players stopped him, but like I feel like that person wouldn't get stopped by security until they were like on the stairs trying to go back down.
Yeah. And I don't think Commerce would be able to get it back in order in 2 hours. Like Cherokee
heck
did.
no, yes.
Shout out to Cherokee for
zero chance.
Yeah, that's.
Yep, big shout out to them for that. Savage here on Twitter was commenting said that they got playback going within 2 hours. So what I heard on that is, they did a lot of right things. They started out by counting all of the chips that were not disturbed, and comparing that towards the total, so they would know what the total would be, and then going back and doing the reconstructions. So
Wow.
yeah, no, that is top notch. To do it in 2 hours and to do it without, I don't see anyone out there complaining. So to do it to a satisfactory level, you gotta love it. So definitely shout out to those guys. And that's the importance of a tournament director who's on top of things, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
So,
really impressive.
absolutely. So way to go, those guys. Did we have there's some other news throughout the week, but I've been kind of out of the loop. You got something, Derek?
Yeah, so there was another ACR scandal, although this one wasn't as bad of a scandal as people thought. There was the previous one was when Nacho had GTO Wizard open in the background when he was playing. Then there was another one where they caught Ebony Kenny doing the same thing, except that this one was actually from last year. It was like an old screenshot.
Right.
So then the whole big like spin up came from that. But I think the point is that GTO Wizard is probably being widely used by internet players, and it sucks. It just really, really sucks.
Yeah. Point is, don't play ACR. That's point one. Second point.
And don't play ACR. Yeah.
Yeah. Second point is play live.
Yeah. Play live.
Second.
There's been some good discussions this week, even on my Twitter, where people are talking about measures that we can take, and Patrick Linder is always, beating the drum about like things that we can do. He's like, you know what? How about you just add a delay on Sundays, right? Just put a delay on Sundays, leave it off for the rest of
It's
the
a
week,
good
right?
Band-Aid.
Yeah, there's all these ideas floating around, and then, people are even talking about having the sites themselves need to take this a little bit more seriously, right? Where I think somebody gave the example of Riot Games apparently has something that they implement on your computer, but it's at the kernel, which I think is a little bit concerning. But basically, kind of it's like an anti-cheat anytime you spin up any other games. So you can't play competitive unless you have that thing running. So, but when we have this much money at stake, I feel like maybe that's something that we need to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's exhausting trying to protect games and protect your games from cheats and whatnot. We had that controversy at the 1K of the player who was suspected of doing the pinhole camera cheat being around. And that was just mentally draining for anyone around him. I mean, he was at my day one table. It was exhausting to have the extra cycles devoted to keeping an eye on him, right? And I know it really pissed off Conrad from the Only Friends. He exploded about it, and he posted about it and talked about it. It's just, if having to think about your game security that hard, and when you're playing online, you kind of have to. It's just exhausting, and it's operators need to do better.
You know what's interesting that came out of that is that the guy was actually at my table, and I was just sort of, giving him like a little bit of an extra look, to make sure that nothing bad was happening. But then when I thought about it a little bit more, because I was like, wow, man, people are really like up in arms about this. They were like really upset about this. And then after I thought about it for a little bit, I'm like, you know what? Like in any hand that I play with him, do I need to be concerned that he somehow like sees my cards and can play perfectly, right? And then actually just like kind of thinking that through, I was like, you know what, like this is like really serious, right? We need to take like these things extremely seriously, which is why we need to have like these blanket bans and like sharing lists and things like that.
Yeah,
because that is really bad for poker.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which is why it's just so insulting. ACR's responses to these events, it's just so like they're just like, whatever. As he said, as Nagy said on the Only Friends podcast this one time, as they brought something up, he says, well, you like poker, don't you? I mean, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, before we head around to results, I have a couple plugs that I want to do. I thought I'd do for some folks here. So, you guys remember Eddie Piloten, Gut Shot Fever here on Instagram? Well, he and his buddy run a little fundraiser every year where they try and get teens bicycles. And they gave away 72 bikes so far since they started this thing. And they go to, they go to Bogota, Colombia, gave away 15 bikes last year. And this year they're going to Mexico City to, let's see, let me read this thing. They want to take 5 Colombian riders to Mexico, give away more than 16 bikes. And, they're heading down to South America, giving some kids that don't get these opportunities or don't have these resources some bicycles. So they are looking for some help. If you're interested in helping out, they have a GoFundMe set up. I guess they have these bikes are $200 a piece, and they're trying to get 16 of them. So if you're interested, go to Gutshot Fever on Instagram, or go to the page for it itself, Get Teens on Bikes, at Get Teens on Bikes, and they have their GoFundMe link here. So it's a pretty cool thing he does. Nice, good to see poker players giving back. We see Baby Shark and Elvis doing fundraisers and charities. I think they do their taking kids to Disneyland or every year as well. Stuff like this, really cool to see poker players giving back. So
Yeah,
Check
really
it
nice.
out, man.
all right.
Nice.
And then another plug to throw out there. I don't think we plugged it yet. Derek has launched his 10-minute poker tip site, brand new
Oh,
YouTube channel here. He's had some very esteemed guests. I think he's just sniping from this show. We're going to start charging a referral fee. It's had Hastings on, had Larry on, had Wayne and Scott Stewart, and yours truly here, right here. Just want to point out, my video has the most views so far. So just
it does. Yeah.
come and check that out.
Nice.
So 10-minute poker tips. And Derek's trying to help you guys out. Go over there, give him a sub, give it a look. Eddie, I have no doubt that after the show he's gonna ask if you want to come on.
Yeah, Eddie, you got to come on and give some main event tips.
Exactly.
I'm down.
All right. So this is the part where we go through results around LA, around wherever we can find, and then we're going to go through what's going on this weekend and next. Eddie, if you'd like to hang out and, see who you recognize, feel free. We'd love to have you around. If not, it's been a real pleasure. It's been really fun talking with you, and we're, we're just really happy to have you on. Hopefully we'll have you on again after you get your first trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
In
to come
5 or
back
6
on
or
once.
7 years.
No, it's gonna be this year. It's gonna be this year. I'm putting it in the universe.
Guys in the
I
chat,
he's calling a shot.
this sounds like a
Calling a
prop
shot.
bet. Guys, LA
Yeah,
guys, this
it's
sounds like a
gonna
prop bet. He says he's getting one this year. I think you can get in on that. Let's go.
But no, I'm gonna stay on. I want to support and see
Awesome.
who the LA grinders are that have gotten the Remingtons recently.
All right, let's
Yeah,
go
you
then.
talk a little shit too.
Yeah, exactly.
Preston, you talking about the hand in the main? I think it was Elvin, or no, was it Nia against Faraz? Is that the hand you're talking about? You can type that up while I move on. All right. So let's start with some results from outside of LA, and we'll circle back around to Commerce. So first off, we will, let me bring up I don't want to spoil anything. Here we go. So I spent the weekend in Vegas. I spent the whole week in Vegas, actually. I had to be up there for some meetings, so I went up early and played in the Win $600 500K guarantee in the Win Million series. So went up there for, I think, the second time in a month. That might be the most Vegas trips I've done in a month in quite a while, but they were successful. Both one bullet bags, getting in the money. So I actually finished in 35th in this guy. I have some interesting, very fun, interesting day one, but I got 35th. Just want to point out that 4th place in this event was LA's very own Vong Do. So congratulations, Vong. He was at my table when I did bust finally. He was, I was kneeling him a little bit, but he was laughing. We got the table rolling, and then I busted out. So I'm sure that was super fun. But congratulations, he got 4th. I got 35th. This was a really fun event for me because on day one, I have never run so amazingly good in the first, up till reg in an event as this. And I've had a lot of really big stacks by the end of reg, but this event, it started out like this. I'm in the big blind on the very first hand off the deck. Blinds are 200. Big blind throws some chips out. The dealer says, raise to 5,100. So then he looks down, and of course, he meant to put a 500 out. He accidentally put 5,000 up. So so we start with 30K
Wow.
stacks, and it's funny because I did the
Oh my
exact same
God.
thing the week before when I c-bet, and that didn't work out for me. So so he does that. Guy across the table looks at his cards, jams like right away. I'm like, interesting. So I look down the big blind. I got ace jack off. I'm like, you know what? It's the first hand. Let's gamble. They probably got pairs. I'm probably flipping against someone. I shove that in there. First guy folds, pocket sevens. Guy across the table actually has ace queen. I'm in terrible shape. The guy with sevens would have made quads, but I hit my jack. So bam, first
Oh my
hand,
God.
I'm up
Oh my
to
God.
I'm up to like 67K in the first hand. Nice suck out. But from there on, I am just hitting everything. People are punting. I would have thought I was playing in LA, man. I was like the fifth caller in this hand from the big blind. I flop trip nines. It's like ace 9-9 or something, and this guy just piles in for two starting stacks in like level 3 with ace jack, and I'm just like, thank you. I had at the first break I had like 4.5 starting stacks and then 1 and 8 bagged. By the end of registration after 8 levels, I had double the average stack for day 2. It was crazy. So I just coasted my way. I was like, man, I'm going to bag like 3 million today. But I did not. I didn't really win many hands after that. I bagged above average. So anyways, that was a fun day one. I got 35th. And while I was up there, I went over to the Venetian to play some cash games and splash around, and I just so happened to run into friend of the pod, Kathy Chang.
Nice.
And I managed to get her that LA Poker Roundup hat that I've been telling her I would give her for like the past year. And I got it to her just in time to win, for her to ship the ladies tag team event with her partner, Bridget Atkins. So congratulations, Kathy, for getting that.
Good job,
and
Kathy.
getting the Venetian trophies here in the ladies tag team. They beat Jamie Kerstetter and Stephanie for in the heads up match. And my friend and Pocket Queens president, Rachel Jack Capuzzi, and Ashley, her partner, got 3rd place. So way to go. That was really cool to be there and
Nice
be there
work.
for that. But that's
Awesome.
not all. I just checked before the show, and look at this, what I found on Twitter. Kathy was over at the Orleans and won herself the Torse tournament over there. So I'm guessing that's like horse with triple draw. So what a heater. Way to go,
Yeah.
Kathy. I noticed she's not wearing the lucky hat this week, but we'll forgive her. She had it in the other one. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, man, we really got to get Kathy to teach us how to play mixed games, and I think we'll probably have her on pretty soon. She's just got too many first place to ignore.
Yeah.
All right. In other news, we unfortunately can no longer make fun of Derek for not having a
Oh.
Remington.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. He
Look
just
at that.
It looks nice out there.
Beautiful out there.
He's going for the Remington mustache. So congratulations, Derek. You got first place in the 500 mini main event. That came with $34,000. And yeah, you took out a fun final table. Were you heads up with Sam? Who was the last person in this thing?
Oh, it was Phil. Phil
was the last person. Oh, right. Phil was the last person. So, yep.
Yeah.
Final
Phil
table had
five,
all the LA regs, Sam Wise, Rachel Gardner, who did commentary for the main event the other night. So that's Poker Butterfly, Craig Chait, and Anthony Marquez all on this thing. So way to ship yourself a Remington. We'll have to find something else. I guess I'm going to have to win some more trophies now because I don't really have a lot to hold over you trophy-wise anymore. To be fair, you fired. I think you fired in about 10 more LAPC events than I did this time around.
I did. I put in volume this LAPC for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on, we've got, I think these are just day one photos from the main. So let's talk about the main. The main was pretty cool. Or actually, you know what? Before we hit the main, let's congratulate Mr. Preston Pats. I know he's in the chat there. He told me the other days, 2 wins in 5 days, the win horse. Okay. I think he's talking about Kathy because she was earlier in the week. Didn't we talk about that last week, Frank, this trophy here? Didn't we talk about this last week? If we didn't, congratulations again. She also won the 400 horse back on, 1 week ago exactly. So Preston told me the other day while we were playing and he was running around in tournaments, he was trying his hardest to be the first this series to win 3 Remingtons in a single series. And he called a shot. He made it. Congratulations, Preston, in the 1106 max. Let's see, did he chop heads up? So Luke, no sir to chop, our buddy Lockbox, and then Preston and Steve came to a chop that got Preston the trophy, got him the big prize because he had all the chips, and he succeeds in getting the hat trick done. So, Derek, you've got 1, but now we expect 3 next time. All right? This is how it's done. So others.
Well, I'm gonna ship. I'm shipping the closer this weekend, so that'll be number 2.
All right. Well, apparently you can only win when none of us are around.
That's true. That
appears to be how it is. When not a single one of us is around, you can do it.
To tie you guys up and leave you at the bike.
Right. So don't have too many of you show up on Friday. If that prize pool balloon's too big, I'm gonna audible and come on down there. This final table was pretty packed. LA Regs, LA Super Regs, and great players. Preston got the win. Steve Yagodov got second. 3, Lockbox, Luke Nguyen. 4th, Andrew Tree. 5th, Sohail Khalili. 6th, David Ubadov. And 7th, Michael Blum. So this was a real strong table of LA talent here. Congratulations on getting the win and for everyone who cashed this thing.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough field overall. I actually busted 2 off the money on this one in like 14th or something. Annoying like ace queen versus ace forehand. Probably should have final table this one, but congrats to Preston and everyone else.
Yep. I mean, calling your shot is a real thing. You did it a ways back, so I mean, you just have to. You gotta have that confidence there. The main event. So the main event drew, I believe, 100. It's not written on here. I believe it drew
140 something.
Yeah, about 140
entries. 145, I think.
145 entries. And the final table had a nice mix of regs and out-of-towners, honestly. So the chip leader going to the final table was everyone's everyone will recognize Faraz Jaka of Jaka Coaching, which is a patch you actually see quite a bit around LA. He came in with 2.2 million, which was double the amount of the second in chips. Others at this final table here, we had Frank Brannon, Elvin Bayo, we had Adam Weinrub, Mike Nia, Anthony Hu, and Gavork, Kasabian. And let's see, is that everyone? Nope, more. Jonathan Pastor and Cecile Titcher-Fatine. So Jonathan and Cecile, I believe, are international. I think I heard on the commentary she was French, and I think he's from England, I think. Could be wrong, but we had, and obviously Faraz from out of town, along with our locals here. So this was a very tough final table, and congratulations to Mr. Mike Nia for taking it down. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Love playing with Mike. And Faraz actually got 3rd place with Mike and Elvin chopping it up 1st and 2nd. So Mike ended up with 308,000 along with the trophy, and Elvin got 300,000 in 2nd place, with Faraz taking home 139 for 3rd place. In 4th was Frank Brannon. 5th was Adam Weinrub. 6th was Givork Kasabian. 7th, Cecile. 8th, Anthony, and 9th, Jonathan. So congratulations to these two. This is both of these guys, it's their biggest score yet. And, really happy to see these LA Blasters taking home the money, getting the win, smiling big, and keeping these out-of-towners from taking all of our money out of town. Way to go.
Congratulations, guys. And what's interesting is, as I'm watching Nia win this, I think we need to start a Blaster Hall of Fame. Let's get, let's
Mike
get a couple
definitely
voted
gets to
in per
go
year.
near the top. Absolutely. He would absolutely be near the top for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the next thing we're doing. So we have a POI, but we need a Blaster Hall of Fame.
Okay, yeah, you can work on that. I've been working the POI. Yeah. And speaking of the POI, after Derek's win, he briefly found himself on top of the virtual standings.
Oh man, I finally got first in the freaking POI.
I didn't have time to update them because I only do it after Hendon updates. But he would have been on first for a second. But with this 2nd place finish, Elvin will be taking that 1st place back away from him. So
I'm taking it back.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
I'm closing that.
Calling a shot.
He's
calling a shot.
All right. So he's either gonna win or he's gonna blow 10 bullets in this thing and just be so done with Commerce. So we have one more set of results from Commerce here. Event number 52 was the $600 seniors, had 123 entries, and the winner here is Tongwan Sun from Arcadia. So congratulations, he wins 16,500 along with his first Remington. So others at this final table, Gardens Super Reg, Lamb win. Third, Greg Seamus. Fourth, Martin Cohen. Fifth, Mike Stella. Sixth, Karen Sarkeesian. Seventh, Thung Hyun. Eighth, Aram Bedrosian. And ninth, Jeff Schwimmer. So congratulations to everyone on that final table. All right. So let me bring up our voted favorite tournament directors Twitter, and let's get some results from the Gardens. And I don't believe I've gotten any new updated results from anywhere else, unfortunately, because it is just so hard to get results out of half of the casinos in town. And Jeff's been doing them kind of in clumps. He doesn't really do them weekly. It's like every now and then he'll just put out like 2 months worth. All right, so we have, is this from 22nd? Yep, this is recent. So the Friday recap here over at the Gardens, they had 152 entries for the morning event, and it was a 6-way chop with Raul Bartolome getting first there. In the 5 p.m., the bigger guarantee buy-in, it had a $37,000 prize pool with a 7-way even chop, with Randy Freeman getting just a tiny bit more, and that would be him in the picture here. So congratulations, Randy. Even chops, that's a little over 5K a piece, so way to go. Moving on to Saturday. The Saturday event had 183 entries, was a 3-way chop with Sayed Hosani. I believe we've seen that guy a bunch of times. I'm assuming the first picture is him. The Sunday event had 267 entries. Man, those $130 bounties get so many entries. But that ended in a 6-way chop where Derek.
I need to do a winner. I need to do a winner's photo like that. Just
the first one or this one? This one?
No, the one where he looks shocked.
Oh, and then we've got Derek Greeley taking home the top chop there for 4K plus bounties in this $130 event. Man, this is great return. Great return for the wins on these things. Wednesday bounty. Oh, okay, so we have Wednesday events over on Cabin's Instagram. So the Wednesday bounty ended with the final table chopping, it looks like, and David Cave. Let's see, pop up your name. All right, I don't have so long. Dave Cave 33 was top of the heap when the final table chopped, and he got a little over 3,000 plus bounties. So way to go there.
Nice work, everyone.
Whew. All right. So we already kind of zipped through some of these other schedules, but let's recap and just talk about what we'll be up to this weekend, shall we?
Yep.
All right. Well, I've got it open, so let's start with the bike. The Winnin' on the Green series starts this weekend, and it starts with bunch of 1-days, so that's really fun for the folks who don't have time to invest in multiple day events. So Friday, they will start with their Winnin' on the Green kickoff at 11 a.m., 50K guarantee, $250 buy-in. Saturday, they will be doing one of their legendary deep stacks. Starts at 11 a.m., 100K guarantee, $400 buy-in. And on Sunday, they will be doing another 50K guarantee, but this time a $300 buy-in. And then there's there are satellites happening every evening on those days, and there is a 4 p.m. smaller event going on each of those days as well. Those are 20K guarantees. I will probably be going over on Saturday because I am busy on Friday, and I think I'm busy on Sunday, so most likely I'll be over there at the bike on Saturday. Let's hop to Commerce, as you have been alluding to. The closer is pretty much the only Hold'em thing going on, right? Let me make it legible to the folks. So the closer is going on right now. They added a guarantee to that. It was a 200K guarantee, right? Where's the date? Here we go.
Yep.
So we are on Thursday. So the closer is currently on flight D today. Tomorrow, Friday, they have 2 flights, an 11 and a 4 p.m., $300 buy-in, 200K guarantee. Saturday, they have 2 more flights, 11 and 4. And there's a Survivor at night then. And then on Sunday is the day 2, and there is they have their regular kind of 1-day $400 at noon and a $250 at 4. So that 12 p.m. $400 one will likely be the last chance to get a Remington this series. Yeah, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. It's 200K guarantee. They should smash it. If it's looking like it's 400, 500K, maybe I'll abandon my plan, go play on Saturday, and if I bag, I'll just go Sunday, and if I don't, then I'm still busy Sunday. So maybe I'll keep my eye on it. If it's looking low, though, I'm gonna stick with the plan.
I think this closure is gonna clear for 420,
420,
430.
430. Okay. Yeah, if it looks like it's going to get to 450, I may just cave and come over there instead. You know me. I am like Eddie. I like the big multi-day events. I just did not, when I was making my run in the main a couple years ago, I just couldn't let go of the ace king against old Joe Hashem. He smashed me pretty good there with the kings. All right.
Yeah, 200K is a comically low guarantee for this. So they're gonna smash.
Absolutely comically low. So the over at Hollywood Park, I didn't find a March schedule out for them yet. So all I have is the last day in February here. They have their kind of typical $8,000 guarantee event on Friday. It's a $50 bounty event. So they certainly have tournaments in March. You'll have to keep your eyes peeled tomorrow or go over there and get the schedule yourself. I went over to the Lucky Lady site, and as a friend of the pod, Jeremy Hamey has been crushing it over there. I almost wonder if he's been whispering in the tournament director's ears over there, because this is new addition to their website. Every Sunday, they now have a hose tournament starting at 11 a.m., and it's a $500 buy-in, that's a decent buy-in for a weekly mixed game event. Their Big O tournament they're running every Tuesday was only $150 buy-in. So $500 buy-in for a nice mixed game tournament. This could really draw some of the mixed game crowd over there, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a decent kind of turnout, and maybe they start running some decent mixed game cash games there. That would probably be what they're going for. But, very cool. If you're a mixed game player, check this out. Every Sunday starting at 11, $500 buy-in hose event. This weekend, they just have their regular schedule of tournaments, but starting March 13th, they have their 50 Years Hustler series, which has a Saturday 30K guarantee event and a Sunday 15K guarantee event. So, and a Friday 20K. So these guarantees are a bit bigger than their weeklies. So their series is a little bit, that weekend they'll be having slightly larger events than they normally do. So check them out. All right. So Derek's going to be over at the closer. I will probably be at the bike, but maybe at the closer. Where are you going to be, Eddie? What you doing this weekend?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Ty. If it gets past 400K, I'm gonna come on Saturday for sure.
Okay, all right. So
Derek, you think that's likely? You think
I'll see you guys.
clear
You
400?
guys just play day one. It's gonna clear 400 easy.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna send.
I'll be there though.
I'm gonna send Eddie a text telling him the turnout was terrible and that it's not worth coming. All right.
I need that first place. I still have a chance at the Remington. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I need you guys in there putting enough bullets to get it over 450.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Just remember, you've never ever won a Remington in an event that I entered. Okay.
This is true. That's 100%. 100%. That's right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks. Thank you so much, Eddie. Thanks for coming on. It's been fun. Look forward to battling with you some more on the felt. And for everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Preston, you'll have to ask Derek his thoughts on that hand in person. We are way over time. So it was a fun hand. I think we did talk about it somewhere else when Faraz bluffed into the straight. So you can definitely grab him. Grab Derek. He loves talking hands. And go check out his channel. 10 minutes.
Hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to drop an analysis there.
Yeah, if you're really nice, maybe he'll bring it up on Wizard. So let's go. All right, guys. We will see you. We'll see you at the tables this weekend. Adios.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. See everyone at the tables.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.